Yeah, big up to everyone locked in, man. Welcome back to Football with Ends. The main man himself, Mike Daz, is in the building as well. I need to add your channel actually to the title, so I will do that before the end of the stream. Listen, just jumped over from speaking to Drifty and the guys. But yeah, man, let's chop it up, man. And then Drifty, and I'm sure he will send over his guys as well to come in and we'll chop it up. But Mike, I did a lot of talking a minute ago. Love to know what you think. We got Brentford. You know, I don't know, what's your outlook on the game? What do you think might happen? Did any quotes from the press conference shock you? Jota apparently injured again. There's a lot of things to speak about, but we'll chop it up for half hour, man, and we'll move on.
I don't really watch press conferences. I don't really read about them. But I saw the news last night that Jota is not going to be in the game or is doubtful, which, you know, I've been calling this guy. How many weeks on Hussam? Every Friday I say we have a guy with a 10% conversion rate, and then we have a guy who's made out of glass. So, you know, to me, like he didn't even start. Did he play like 20 minutes last game? And then he didn't even start the game before that. How were you hurt? What is wrong with you? Did you stub your toe the wrong way? Did you malfunction your thumb on FIFA? Like, I don't get it. His first injury this season. Listen, when a guy makes a tackle like that and he falls on you, I get it. It's painful. Yeah. But I've played contact sports. I've been kicked in the face. Like literally, I've been kicked in the face playing soccer. I don't understand how he could be so injury prone. But listen, it is what it is. If he's hurt, we've won games without him this season, so it's not the end of the world. Not to mention, you know, outside of the goals that he has scored, which again have been pivotal goals. You know, he's won us, I think, 5 points this season, which is a lot for someone who's played less than 10 games, I think, in the Premier League. That's a lot of points to win in a few amount of games. The overall play that I've seen from Jota is not up to par from what I've seen in the past, especially towards the beginning of the season. Is Luis Diaz working consistently in that 9? No. But at the same time, is he offering me something more than Darwin Núñez? Yes. Because Darwin Núñez is better off the bench regardless. So I'd rather be 0-0 and you bring on Núñez than 0-0 and I bring on no one. You know what I mean? Because we don't have another 9. Unless, of course, Jadon Danns is going to be on the bench. To be honest with you, if I'm the manager, I'm playing Jadon Danns. I don't even care. Like, I don't care about this prospective loan move. Jota's out. Clearly, Darwin is not your guy. This is not who you trust. Jadon Danns has shown me last season in a small sample size and this season in a small sample size that he can win the ball, that he's energetic, and that he can score in front of the goal. That's all I need right now, because Brentford historically have never really been a team that I have feared. I think that we handled them well in the home game that we had earlier this season. What did we win that? 3-1?
2-0. So it was a 13-minute goal from Diaz and a 70th minute goal from
Darwin.
Salah.
Oh, wait. No, Darwin scored
against the year before.
Well,
what the year before? It was the same year, but the end of that particular season, that's when it was 4-1.
I got you.
But the start of the season was 2-0.
Yeah, but listen, Brentford, they obviously just had the great result against City, but City are not City. So, you know, they're going to be feeling confident. It's an away game. It's going to be a hostile atmosphere. The striker, important, but, you know, not having Jota there is not the end of the world, but it does seriously raise questions of, I've been saying all season that I want a 9, and if anything, this is now more evident than ever that we need a 9. Luis Diaz is not the long-term fix. It worked against Leverkusen, but it's not going to work every week. And, you know, the counterattack last weekend, the counterattack on Tuesday is the perfect example of why I can't trust Luis Diaz, because you didn't make a simple layoff to a one-on-one to Gakpo, right? And there's been multiple times this season and last season where on one-on-ones, he just seems to kind of not even hit the target.
Do you know what? It's so crazy because that's like basics. And you're like, just play it to him. And if he misses, you have a go at him. If he scores, fantastic. We're wrapping the game, or we equalize early, and then we can try and go and get the second goal.
It's so much time.
I want to go back just quickly to the Jota thing, bro.
Yeah.
It's mental. You're right. He played 20 minutes in the Accrington Stanley game, comes on, plays about 20 minutes in this one, and then he's just gone. And now you're telling me you're not sure if he's going to be available tomorrow. That shouldn't even be a conversation right now. That shouldn't even be within a conversation or a realm of a conversation.
He's getting six figures a week. 6 figures a week for this.
And now we're going to have to rely on Darwin again. And listen, man, I've tried to defend Darwin. You know this already. But I've tried to give reasons on why. But I know Jota fit plays and starts. And that's a fact. But we can't even rely on the guy to the main starter in the 9 position we want to start. Can't start. So then we have to rely on the other guy that's potentially not informed, potentially his head is gone, not getting a lot. I don't know. I
don't even think he's going to play. I genuinely.
But that's the thing. I think he will because he's had the week off, mate. He's had the week off because he was suspended, right? And I'm like, that's the manager giving the opportunity because Jota is now injured. That's the problem. That's where we're at now.
I mean, I don't see how someone like Arne Slot could not look at Jayden Danns and say this is like the perfect opportunity. Like this is the perfect game because the 9 is not going to be the make or break against Brentford. It's not, because what are Brentford most likely going to do? They're most likely going to sit back behind the ball and play us on the break because everyone who's been giving us trouble has been playing on the break, right? Even United did it. United just sat. They gave us the ball and they're like, we know that you're going to get frustrated and you're going to lose possession. That's what Nottingham Forest did. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to force a pass, and then I'm going to hit you on the break, and Trent's going to be caught sleeping. So the 9 is not going to be this all-encompassing. We're not going to there's not going to be much transition moments. I doubt that they're going to have a flurry of corners. Maybe they do. Maybe, I have no idea, but my assumption would be we'll probably have 70% of the ball in this game if we play the way that Arne wants to play. With that being said, do I need Darwin Núñez in there? No. Do I need Luis Diaz in the 9? No. I could go with someone like Jayden Danns and be like, I want you to stay in the middle and you're tall. You can win aerial duels. You're young. You're energetic. I don't want you drifting. Find the penalty spot and stand there in an offside position. I'm going to figure out how to just get something to you.
Get the ball into you, yeah.
Exactly. Rinse, repeat, because Darwin's not going to do that. We all know that Darwin loves to drift. That's the one thing that I really don't understand. For someone who is a striker and has scored so many goals in the past, why do you always drift wide? Why is it that whenever Luis Diaz or Mo gets the ball, you're not in the center of the park? Is that instruction? Is that just habit?
It has to be because I don't know, bro. My honest answer, I always thought maybe it is instruction. Maybe it's just a habit. Maybe you get bored and you want to go and look for the football and try and get involved in the play because you don't want to stand there. Maybe it's because you made 5 or 6 runs and then the ball doesn't come, so you end up going, I can't be asked. Like, I'm making runs, you guys ain't passing, so I might as well come and get a touch of the football. Then I'll make a different run. I don't know, but we get the ball into good areas, wide areas, and I'm like, why are you not in the box?
There's no one there. There's no one there.
Why are you not in here? But honestly, when you're in here, we get chances. When you're not in here, they're clearing it, and then I don't know. Man.
It's a conundrum because I do feel for him in a sense because there have been games this season where he has made runs through the middle over and over again, and I see over and over again people just not willing to play the pass, not willing to play him in. But to be honest, I kind of feel for them because it's like if I play for Liverpool for the last 3 years and I'm watching Darwin, if I get him a one-on-one, I'm probably going to end up throwing my hands up in the air, So like there is a little bit of a mental aspect to it. How much do the players trust him? And that's his fault for losing the players' trust, for missing all of these chances. That's on no one else in the world. You've been given chances. You've missed them. It doesn't matter. Numbers don't lie. And unfortunately, he did provide 31 GA, but 50 whatever chances missed. It doesn't matter how many times you score. People are always going to hyper-focus on the bigger number. And that plays into the cards of players too, especially in certain moments. Like
100%.
You could score all these goals, but if you miss that against Luton Town, I'm always going to be thinking about Luton Town. You know what I mean?
What did you make of this comment as well? And this had to do with, the guy asking the questions about Darwin Núñez, his form. Is he feeling sorry for himself kind of thing? Is he down? And Arne Slot basically said, no, he's fine. He mentioned he was a part of the goal in the Accrington Stanley game. He's the one who set up the first goal. He was a part of the, one of the goals. Was it in the Man United game as well, or he got an assist in that one? And then what was the last? He missed the last game. So basically, he said he's had 2 assists and a goal. And so for me, he's actually doing things in games. And he said that's our own perception. And I'm like, I know you have to back your players and defend them, and that's fine. That's that's a part of your job. You have to protect your players. You have to give them a kick up the arse when they need to. But the manager said it's our perception, bro. He thinks he's playing well. Are we going crazy then? Because he's actually doing stuff in the games and we're just not noticing it.
I think that something that Arne has showed is that he has proven that he will not publicly shun anybody, which is fine. Like I think that genuinely his perspective on these press conferences is, I'm not going to say a single negative thing because that's not for you to know. That's between me and him, which is the way that I would want my manager to be. I don't want you unless a player speaks out against us, or unless a player deserves it, but I don't think anyone has, because I don't think anyone's playing against us. That's not his job, and I don't think it should be his job. And these things matter, right? Like public press conferences matter to the people in the room. Like they matter to the squad more than they matter to us, because I'm just a casual observer. I don't live and breathe every day in that Liverpool training environment. So like, you say something wrong, that's going to create some strife. All of a sudden we have bigger problems. I think it's like, it's a good general statement that kind of deflects any sort of negativity that there could be. I'm not telling you that you're wrong because it's your opinion, but I'm also not telling you that I agree with your opinion. I'm simply stating that that's your opinion, is essentially what he's saying, which is fine. But also, at the same time, I hope that behind the scenes, he's kicking him in the ass and saying like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is your job. I think I read a stat the other day that we've paid 1.4 million per goal involvement over the last 3 years. If you equate what we paid for him to how many goals he has scored, not goal involvement, goals he has scored.
Goals he scored.
So, yeah, so it's like 1.4 million per goal.
Goals, boy.
Exactly. So, I think it's a solid response from a manager, and it's the type of thing that I'd want my manager to say, because I don't want to hear the criticisms that you have. Like, that's locker room talk. That's not for me to hear, and it should never be for me to hear.
Nah, that's a fair point. Let me make this a bit bigger so everyone can see it in the chat. This was in terms of obviously us conceding goals of recent instead of being strong and defensive. I would say it's not a concern, but it's also not what we want. It was one of our strengths at the start of the season or beginning of the season. Forest, for an example, had one serious shot on target and it was a goal. So it's the same thing we spoke about. Yeah, teams were having chances. We spoke about it, was it yesterday? Teams were having chances, but we were in more control of those chances. It wasn't like frantic chances, and even though we had the numbers there, I felt like they still had the upper hand. But that wasn't happening at the beginning of the season. Now we got enough players back, and it still feels like they got the upper hand when they're attacking. I don't know why that reason is. There's a couple of reasons, I think, and one was the double pivot. I don't feel like the two are staying in front of the back line anymore and actually protecting it. I feel like they've gone to more of a 3 instead of the 4-2-3-1. That's the way it feels to me now. It doesn't feel like we had the 4-2-3-1. It feels like a 4-3-3 now. I don't know if you've noticed that at all. I don't know if guys in the chat, if you guys have noticed that at all. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think a major miss for us over these last weeks where we've experienced defensive struggles was Dominic Szoboszlai. Right. I think that his ability to gain control in the midfield is imperative. His ability to press, his physicality. Obviously, Konate not being there for an extended period, that's another big thing. Because no one was there to sort of cover for Trent when Trent was out of position, and that's just what Konate was doing. Trent was doing a good job of ushering people to the byline or keeping them wide, and if they cut inside, remember, Konate was always there. How many times at the beginning of the season did Trent showed him inside, and then Konate's there to sort of sweep it up, right? Basically, Trent's good defending is limiting options so that Konate can have an easier job, at least in my perspective. Missing him has been big. Obviously, Trent has just been exceptionally poor defensively over the last few weeks. And it's not even like we were giving up an insane more amount of chances. Like, maybe we were giving up one opportunity, and then in these last few games, we were giving up like 3. Like we're talking about an increase of 2 to 3 chances per game, which in the grand scheme of things is a lot. But, there's a lot of other factors. Alisson coming back, not being up to speed, not being able to make the superhuman saves. Connor Bradley not being in there, so basically forcing us to play Trent every single game. Szoboszlai not being there, and ultimately teams just being more clinical against us. Because we'll be kidding ourselves if teams were not getting into dangerous positions in those early games, and just a single better pass would lead to a better opportunity. It's just not the way that it rolled for those specific games. But it's something that we have to shore up because we cannot be conceding like this. And also, I looked into the games that Alisson missed, and people have like this crazy notion of Kelleher being that much better. But when you really deep it, Kelleher played 7 straight Premier League games.
Yeah.
He had 2 clean sheets, but in the 5 games that he conceded 9 goals. So
to be fair though, what was that? You're looking at, was he in goal for Fulham, right? So that was that Alisson.
10 men. No, Alisson. Alisson was in goal for Fulham.
Okay, but the Newcastle one he was in, so that's 3 in that one game. Mm-hmm. What was the games before that, if you can remind me? But I feel
he was in for Newcastle. He was in for City. That was a 2-0. Yeah. He was in for Southampton. Was another 2 goals conceded.
Yeah, Brighton won that one, right?
Yep, Brighton was 1 goal conceded, but let's be fair here. That was a really good shot.
Yeah.
What else was there? I gotta pull up Alisson's transfer thing, and I could tell you all of them because it was only 5 games that we were conceding in. But
yeah, you can see like the goals, came across games where the team was just absolutely poor, man.
Chelsea.
The Newcastle one was poor.
Chelsea, it was Chelsea. Chelsea was Nicholas Jackson's goal. Arsenal, both goals Kelleher was in there for. Brighton, that's 1, so that's 4. And then you had the 2 against Southampton, 6, and then the 3 against Newcastle, 9.
So yeah, like Arsenal, you expect to concede against. They're a good team. Chelsea, you expect to concede against, good team. Man City would have been one you would expect to concede against, but we didn't. But the Newcastle game, we were so poor from a midfield standpoint. The first goal Isak scored as well. We should have done better from closing, but that was an absolute screamer. And then you'd say the last goal was his own fault there, and it wasn't even like it was a shot. The guy tried to keep it in, and he let it go.
The second goal, to me, Anthony Gordon's shot was poor.
Yeah,
Kelleher, Kelleher, he got a hand on it. In my perspective, if you're able to get a hand on it, you should be able to parry it, right? Unless it's a fingertip, but it wasn't a fingertip. It was his full hand. To me, he has to do better there. But also, I'm going to be fair to him. Held a clean sheet against Real Madrid. Held a clean sheet against Leipzig, I believe.
And he had a back-to-back clean sheets, right? Because he had against
Leverkusen clean sheet.
Real Madrid and Man City back-to-back as well, didn't he?
But he also conceded 2 against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. So, I think that looking at Alisson, it's just like
to fill us out in that one though.
It's just Alisson has lost like half a second. Like if I were to put a metric on it, I'd say he's lost an inch, right? Like he's 1 inch away from things. But again, Chris Wood's shot, excellent finish. Like you save that's a world-class save. It is what it is. Some days they go in, some days they don't. Same thing with Tottenham. Like, dude, Bergvall's finish is unsavable. That's no one on the planet is saving that. It's just not happening. It's perfectly placed into the bottom corner.
Post, yeah,
exactly. So, and then obviously United, Lisandro Martinez's goal. It is what it is. It's a banger off the post. And Ahmad, I mean, bro, it's like that's the same goal that we conceded. It's the same one against Southampton. You're allowing the cross through the box on the ground. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. But yeah, defense has to get better. But I think having Szoboszlai back will help with the solidity in midfield. But ultimately, Trent has to wake up. Like I cannot, like, every single one of these goals is coming from that side. And whether it's him personally or whether it's everyone else on the team, I don't care. The fact is, we're conceding well over half of our goals from this side, whether it's the cross from that side or whether it's the actual physical shot itself. I count the cross too because the chance is being created from that side. So that needs to be fixed. However he wants to address that, whether it's playing Connor Bradley or whether it's just, yelling at Trent and saying, stop inverting, stay there, do your job. It needs to be fixed because we can't keep conceding like this because we're not going to, no one's going to score 4 or 5 goals a game. I know that we have the highest average in the league per game right now with like 2.84, but Salah's 70% of those. He's not going to do that every week. You have to be better defensively. And it's that simple.
Big up to everyone locking in, man. There's 60 of you guys in the chat as well. Make sure you guys are smashing the like as well. And big up to everyone watching on X as well. He also went on to say, man, we know how good we have to be. Chelsea also spent 1.2 billion. United spent a lot of money, and that's what makes this league so intense. It's also the reason we want to be here. We are very happy with the team. We are very happy with the team we have at the moment and still able to compete with teams who are spending incredibly amount of money. Bro, do you know what this sounds like? You remember when Klopp used to do this, bro? When he used to just randomly just start saying stuff about other teams spending money. Big up, man. Big up. Appreciate the love.
PR training.
You remember when he used to just say stuff about the opposition, like, no, they've spent a lot of money to kind of downplay we not spending money at times. I'm hoping he's not falling into the trap doing this, by the way.
To me, it's straight up PR. It's PR because if you look at Chelsea, yeah, you could say that they've spent that much money, but I know a lot of Chelsea fans. I know a lot of Chelsea creators. They've also sold a lot of players. They've made a lot of money. Like, don't just look at a number blindly and say, hey, 1.2 billion. How much did they sell? How much did they make? What's the net spend, right? Arsenal is the same thing. City is the same thing, right? City didn't buy anyone in the summer. That's why they can splash this cash in January. Also, they had outgoings in the summer. So again, they can splash this kind of cash. To me, this is like psych 303, right? Like this is like third level college psychology of deflecting blame without actually without literally deflecting blame, which is the biggest problem that I have because you have to spend money in this sport if you want to win. If you 100%. Don't want to win and you want to be sustainable, that's fine. But just cut the shit and tell me, like FSG, if you don't want to win trophies, then come out and publicly say, we are here for the value of the club, and this is a secondary objective. And then we can all get together and we can start protesting, and we can say, okay, it's time for you to go. But, you're basically fighting in the shadow realm, playing riddles, and I hate that. And he has to be coached to be saying this, because what kind of person would logically, a guy this smart, you're telling me that you're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I think I could compete with these guys who just dropped 200 million this January. We can do this. Darwin Núñez is good enough. Get out of here. No way.
I honestly couldn't tell you, bro. Big up to everyone that's joined, obviously from Coppish as well, guys. Make sure you're subscribing and make sure you're liking the video. I honestly don't know. I don't even know why. Even if you get asked these questions, just keep it to yourself, bro. Because I promise you can just go back over, the course of the years, and all I remember is Klopp saying the same things. Yeah, we've got bills to pay. There's so much things I've heard him say over the years, and I'm seeing our manager now saying these things. It's honestly crazy, man. But look, Brentford, let's do our lineup, what we think it will be instead of what we know it's going to be. What would you like it to be as well? I just finished doing mine and helping Drifty, Jamie, and Barnes doing their one.
Yeah.
Let's go to. I'll do it from here, man. Who do you think starts in goal for us, bro?
So are we doing who I think or who I want?
Think should do it? Chat. Let us know as well, man. And I want us to be open and honest. Who do you guys think should start in goal tomorrow?
I don't think he's going to drop Alisson. So I think it's going to be Alisson. I don't see how. it doesn't seem like an Arne Slot thing to do. I think if anything, he would drop Allison for Lille, right? So the game on Tuesday, Kelleher will probably start since it's inconsequential, and we've basically secured top 8. So Allison for me is going to start.
Let's see what everyone else in the chat is saying as well. Do you guys agree with Allison? Let's see. Honesty, big up my bro. Yep. Kingsman, yep. LFC Shankly, yep. L saying yep. Still has to start in JP. Yep, would start as well. Let's go to the 2 centre backs will be Virgil and obviously Konate, weren't it? That picks itself. Left back, who goes left back for you?
I think it has to be Tsimikas.
I agree, bro. I agree. And it's not the fact of you want to drop Robbo, but Tsimikas just deserves to have a run in the team now, just to see. Because if we carry on not giving him the opportunity and keep rotating, and it's not like I've defended Robbo this season, and I've not think he's been like shocking, but he's starting to do little things where I'm just like, yeah, bro, that's not the old school Robbo. He wouldn't have done that. It just feels like you're just a bit too slower than knowing your reaction and stuff like that. So I would give it to Tsimikas. His deliveries are better at this moment in time from corners and set pieces, and he offers a lot going forward as well. And he also defends well. He's very aggressive in his challenge. He's normally first to it, and if he loses out, he doesn't just stand there and rest on his laurels. He gets back in and he's aggressive. Go on, bro.
Who would you rather have against Brian Mbeumo? Would you rather have Andrew Robertson, conceding a fucking penalty? Sorry, pardon the French. Conceding a penalty, or would you rather have Tsimikas? Personally, I'd rather have Tsimikas. He's fat, he's quicker than Robbo, and if anything, he'll be able to take advantage of Mbeumo's aggressiveness more than Robertson can, because he's gonna be aggressive.
Robbo will start. Now, listen, guys, we know roughly what the manager is going to kind of do, but we're trying to think ahead, man, and seeing what we can actually do to fill in. Let's go with right back. It's going to be Trent, isn't it?
I think personally, I think that it has to be Connor Bradley. I think that you need to play. I think you need to play Connor Bradley because Trent is horsing around, right? You got the contract stuff. You've got the horrendous effort. You have the lack of output. Like, I don't care that Trent played one good ball in Nottingham Forest. He still gave away the ball. He still wasn't great defensively. He still almost cost us in the game against Spurs. That was a millimeter from being onside 2-0 Dominic Solanke. Something needs to kick him in the head. And I'm not going to do this special boy treatment. I'm not going to do this Scouser in our team treatment. Connor Bradley, statistically, I watched a comparison. It's almost neck and neck. The only difference is chances created. But given the way that we play, I shouldn't be expecting my right back to create me 60 chances in a season. Just not realistic. Outside of that, it's pretty much neck and neck. I think Connor Bradley has to start if he's fit enough. I'm 1,000% starting.
See, with this one, obviously I would pick Trent to start, but I wouldn't mind if Bradley started. I never look at it and go, why is Bradley starting? I would be like, okay, cool, Bradley starting. And that's the confidence this kid is giving me, where I can trust him to start in any game now. Any game the manager wants to put him in, I agree. JP agrees with you as well, bro. Let's go to the 2 defensive midfielders. Gravenberch, obviously, we know 100% start. I keep pushing this. I don't know what you think. I think I mentioned in the other show. I can't remember what your take was, whether or not you agreed or disagreed, which is fine. Obviously, I know he's going to go with McAllister. But my logic behind it is we just need someone in there that's a lot more defensive discipline. Instead of Mac. Mac is a lot more creative. And I'd put Mac further forward. I'd actually play Mac in the 10.
See,
if we start with Wataru, if that's what we did.
I would love that. I would love to see Gravenberch with Endo and then McAllister. And if anything, right, you start with a 4-3-3, but you can switch that to, a 4-1-2, what would it, 4-1-2-3 or whatever it would be. Basically, Endo could drop in possession, and then Gravenberch and McAllister are more progressive in possession. Then out of possession, all three of them could basically come back to a flat 3 with Endo a little bit further deeper. I think that he gives you the freedom for Gravenberch to go forward.
Yeah.
He gives you the confidence of being able to put in a crunching tackle on a counterattack, or at least slow down the counterattack. Because that's another quality that I think a lot of people sort of dismiss. You don't always have to win the tackle. You don't always have to get the ball. You don't always have to get possession. You just need to force the pass backwards once. That's it. You just need to buy the rest of the team 2 seconds so that they get those extra 4 steps so that the
100%.
break, so that this whole break is filled. And Endo can do that. Endo can buy you 1 to 2 seconds on a counterattack, which could be the difference between someone beating Trent and Trent being able to usher someone to Ibrahima Konate. I would love to see Grav, Endo, and McAllister. But then again, where are you going to put Szoboszlai? Because I think that Szoboszlai has been one of the best midfielders while he's been healthy for the past 6 weeks.
I agree, bro. I just want to see him. I just want to see if it works, bro. Maybe it's just me just wanting to see something. But I see it. I
love
see
Endo.
it working.
I love Endo.
I can honestly see it working, but for some reason the manager don't want to do it. Big up, bro. Big up. But let's say he's gonna go with McAllister, right? Does Dominic Szoboszlai then comes in as well in the 10 for you?
Yeah.
Does Jones, does Elliott gets an opportunity?
No. I think Szoboszlai has solidified his position as the 10 in this team. Whether or not we agree with the way we utilize that, I mean, we've seen the stark contrast in the 2 games that he missed, being United and being Nottingham. Oh, no, wait, did he? I can't remember if he started against Forest.
No, he did. He started.
Okay, so he started against Forest, or it was United, and maybe it was the Spurs game.
But he missed the Accrington Sonic. Did he play in that one?
No, he missed Spurs and United. So he missed the United game, and then he missed the Spurs game in the cup. But Jones is not a 10, and he clearly just doesn't rate Elliott enough. And I don't think that Elliott's going to do.
Why doesn't he rate him though, bro? Like Elliott is not a rubbish footballer.
I think it's just the profile. Like I think because Szoboszlai could play in the double pivot. Like let's be honest, we could drop Szoboszlai into the double pivot and push McAllister up, and probably not notice a tremendous amount of difference. I can't do that with Harvey Elliott. And I think that he wants 3 players who can play at least at some level in all 3 of those positions, because a lot of them do a whole bunch of interchanging in terms of positioning. And I think that would be the only reason why. We just don't utilize the 10 as this creative spark.
Big up to selection. Starting Mac and Endo, I think, or starting Mac and Endo makes no sense if Slot can play with that way the press and his 10 being the one to cover ground. Endo isn't good enough in build-up. But the problem is, I think he can. I don't know. We don't need to make a big deal about the build-up phase of the game. It's not like he can't turn, receive the ball on the back foot and pass the ball forward. We've seen it, or else he wouldn't be playing in the professional settings at all if he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't do it in the way that maybe a McAllister, or maybe the way Gravenberch, the way he takes the ball, but he can do it. But I'm thinking it will free up the rest of the guys to go and really express themselves, because you're going to have someone that's proper defensive minded sitting in and waiting. And if you've got Gravenberch next to you, it frees up Salah, frees up, if it's whoever else it is, frees up whoever the striker is, and it also frees up the 10, because he knows, right, I've got 2 guys sitting in behind me and they're not going to move. And then we can just be as fluid as we want in the front 4. And then you get the options of your fullbacks then joining in. Because you're going to have that 4. You're going to have Ibu, you're going to have Virgil, you're going to have Grav, you're going to have Wataru. That's why I would pick him instead of playing Mac, because then Mac is making runs into the box and it leaves Gravenberch solo. If you notice a lot of the game against Forest, even though Gravenberch did really well, he was on his own most of the time. There was one they played really long, and I don't know how he brought it out of the air, but it was like 3v1 at that moment. I was like, we've left him on his own. Why we've left him on his own to defend that? But yeah, that's one. But I appreciate the super chat, by the way. Thanks for the super chat, bro. But yeah, that's the reason I'll go. But back to the team, Mike. let's go. Salah goes in, right? Who goes left and who goes up front for you? With the news of Jota potentially injured.
Yep. I think Cody has been the more informed left winger when playing on the left wing. So I think you got to put Gakpo. And I think that this is the day that you got to give the kid a chance. You have to give. We know what we're going to get with Darwin Núñez. I don't think that this is going to be Bayer Leverkusen, so I know what I'm going to get with Luis Diaz. I don't know what I'm going to get with Jadon Danns, and I know that the 9 is not, like, let's be real, it's not the biggest gamble. Like, I know that 2 things are most likely not going to work. Why not take the risk in a game that you have to win, show some gall, show some balls, and put in the kid who has shown an ability to be energetic and can score goals? Not to mention, just imagine, Ends. Imagine we put in Jadon Danns. Imagine he cooks Brentford. Imagine he gets a goal. Imagine he gets 2 goals. All of a sudden, everyone's mindset has completely changed. All of a sudden, I have another option, right? There's more to gain from me playing Jadon Danns and it working than there is for me playing Luis Diaz and it working, or playing Darwin Núñez and it working. So if I want it to work, I should want it to work in the way that's going to give me the biggest upside. And the way that it gives me the biggest upside is by basically implementing a new tool that I can use for the rest of the season. And I think that this is as good of an opportunity as ever to give the kid a chance.
Do you think he's realistically going to be given the opportunity, though?
No, unfortunately, no. But I mean, I'm praying to the Lord. Whatever you believe in, I'm praying to it, that something plants a seed into Slot's head. Someone gives him a text message. John W. Henry calls him up and tells him, Jadon Danns is starting or you're fired. And it happens. But it's most likely going to end up being Luis Diaz.
So I saw a couple of the guys in the chat, whether or not it's true or not, they said something about he might be unwell for the game. Might have picked up the virus that.
Jadon?
Diaz, sorry.
Oh, well, if Diaz is gone, then you have to, because we know Darwin ain't scoring.
But with Diaz missing the previous games, do you think he starts him?
Wait, with Núñez missing the previous game?
Yeah, Núñez missing the previous game. Do you think Núñez can start this one?
I don't know how you could start him. Like, I don't. I genuinely, I don't.
The manager backed him, though. He said it's our own perceptions. He feels he's doing well.
He has to say that, Ends. He has to say that. He
Does
can't
he
come
have
out.
to, though?
He can't say I have a donkey in the 9. He can't. He can't do that, because then that's going to diminish the value of the player, and all of a sudden the club can't get enough. Because if we want to sell him, we can't be talking shit against them, because then people will know that we want to get rid of him, which means that they can lowball him. And they'll know that they can just force my hand. So at least I have to maintain the perception that I rate this player at some level. Otherwise, now I have to sell you for 45 because they know I don't want you. But like, we know what we're going to get. We know that Darwin Núñez is just going to get caught offside 2 or 3 times. We know he's going to drift wide to either wing. We know that if the ball gets into the box, he's going to hit it about 95 yards over the post. I don't know what's going to happen if I put in Jadon Danns. And that's what excites me, because I don't know. And if it doesn't work, guess what? It's all good, because we can still win. But
I think he'll be on the bench, though. I think if Jota is out, I think he'll be on the bench.
Yeah, for sure.
So he'll get the opportunity to start. But you're saying you're going with Diaz. I'll just start Núñez, man. I think he will.
I
agree. Everything you just said and you described, I know that's what's going to happen. But I'm just like, we either go with Diaz or you go with the guy that has been out of the team for a week.
Yeah. It's most likely going to be Darwin, but like, if this is the, I mean, especially after the performance against Accrington Stanley. I know it's Accrington Stanley, but still, like, just look at the way that he played. Look at the way that he moves. Look at the energy that he has. Look at the way that he wins the ball in midfield and then progresses it upfield and then is in the box for a rebound. Those are natural abilities that I know Darwin doesn't possess. And based on that alone, like, I can basically say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to spend money, but guess what? I got this 19-year-old kid who's pretty freaking good. So, yeah, if anything, it would help FSG. But I don't know. I'm over rationalizing it because I really want to see him play. But it's going to end up being Darwin.
I do as well, man. I definitely want to see him play. Big up selection again. Endo isn't good in receiving and turning and carry. I get what you mean though, but he doesn't carry the ball. He will rather release it. So if he gets it on the back foot, he'll just release it. He doesn't need to do what Gravenberch do it.
I don't even agree with this. Do people just forget the goal that he scored against Fulham? Do we just completely ignore the fact that the guy has a banger of a shot? Like, we're not Manchester City. I don't need my 6 to be playing 5 key passes a game. I need because just look at the way that we play Gravenberch this season. He doesn't really progress that far forward. He doesn't really take shots inside the box. He's not a threat to goal. And more often than not, he's moving the ball laterally, right? He's moving it from one end of the pitch to the other. He's not moving it forward. If you're going to tell me that Endo can't move the ball laterally, then I'm going to tell you that Endo can't play professional football, but he clearly can.
He's stiff too. Endo can't be facing the play. You can't have him so he's back to the man in situation consistently like we do in build up. So I get what you mean. Normally the 6 or the pivot would have to drop in to receive off the goalkeeper. Turns out, and if someone's pressing him from behind. But I don't know. I remember last season there was a few times when he got tackled by him doing that. And I remember one of them who was it against Crystal Palace, and we ended up conceding, but we ended up getting the goal. We ended up getting it chalked off because they brought it back for a foul on Wataru. And I remember him dropping in to receive it. And then I can't remember who was it that was pressing him from behind. And then he ended up losing the ball. But since then, I think he's been calm. When he filled in in centre back and when he's filled in the 6 for us, I think he's been really good. The game against Brighton as well in the League Cup, I thought he was really good in that one in the 6. He was really good in that game. And we need that kind of leader and that kind of bite in there in our midfield now. And look, first half of the season could be different to the second half of the season. It's not about dropping players. It's about just trying to figure out a tactical way to get better out of these teams, man. But I appreciate what you said, bro. I agree to an extent, but I disagree as well because I feel like we're knocking him down, and I think he's a better player than what we're saying he is. But I get what you mean. Like Gravenberch is obviously really good at receiving it on the back foot. McAllister is really good at dropping in, receiving it because McAllister has a great first-time pass as well, where he drops in and then he'll just whip it out to the right-hand side to like Trent in a massive bit of space. But Wataru has his strengths as well, and I think he can easily play within this system as well. Big up though, everyone in the chat. Love for the love, guys. Last but not least, bro, let's do our score predictions and then we'll head out. And then we've got to head over to Hussam's channel where we're going to be talking more Liverpool. What's your score, Mike, and who's the goal scorer? Chat, love for you to throw your scores in there as well, and also your goal scorers attached to it as well to make it a bit interesting. But Mike, what are you giving?
I'm going to be unrealistic here. I'm going to say that we're going to win 2-1, and we're going to get the winning goal. So we're going to go down 1-0, then we're going to tie it, and then Darwin's going to come off in the 75th minute, and then Jayden Danns is going to come on, and then Jayden Danns is going to score the winner. So I'm just going to go crazy mental backing of Danns so that Danns can get into the starting 11. So 2-1.
So
which I think is a realistic score.
First.
Yep.
Who scores their goal?
Let's go with Mbeumo because I think that more likely than not, we're probably going to see Robertson starting. I think he's going to get cooked, and I think actually listen, Robert's going to get cooked or Trent's going to get cooked. One of them is going to concede a chance, and it'll be probably Mbeumo that finishes it. And then I'll back Salah to get us an equalizer, and then Darwin's going to have to come off the pitch, and Jayden Danns will come on, and he'll score the winner. Unrealistic.
I think Drifty said as well we'll concede first, but I think he did go with a win. 3-1, I think he went with. I'm going to go 2-1. I do think we score first. And with the starting 11 we gave, I'm going to go Salah to score first. We'll score the second, and I'll give that one to Szoboszlai. And then I think they score, and then it's a bit backs against the wall, and maybe Wataru has to come on to help us see out that game, and we'll win 2-1. Let's see what Luke be. 3-1, Nunes, Salah, and Mac. Else is 3-1 goals from a non-forward, Gakpo Brace. Who's the non-forward, bro? Which one of the guys are the non-forwards?
Konate header off a corner.
That'll be good. IR 23, 3-1, Salah, Stobbo, JP 3-1. Where's the goal scorers, JP, bro? You know what I mean? Didn't even follow the rules there, bro.
I think 3-1 is a logical. I also think it's very possible that they just don't score. Like, I think that it's very possible for us. Well, no. I think a 2-0 is very, very likely as well. I think I back us to score 2. I don't think that we're going to concede a flurry of chances, unless of course Trent decides to have a stinker. Because I don't really, I don't back Brentford's attack at with the same as I back Chris Wood, and I think that they're going to play very similarly. I think that they're going to sit back a lot. We're not Manchester City. We don't have recently our defense has been able to be cut open, but not to the extent that City does. And that's just the way that Brentford play. I think it's also the way that they played against us in the first game. They just pressed high. They couldn't do it for 90 minutes. And then once the first goal goes in, it's over. So
then they realized it was going to be a long day.
Exactly.
LK says 3-2, Gakpo brace, Canate, and then Hobbs and Shaw. That's Whistering and Buemo, I guess. Hobbs and Shaw. Honesty, big up Broski, 4-2, Darwin, Salah brace and Mac for them and Buemo. And Damsgaard draw. What kind of draw are we talking about, though? Tanya, bro. What we going? 0-0, 2-2, 3-3. What kind of draw? Robert, big up, man. 4-0, Trent, Sobel, Mo, Gakpo. Mike, where you gone with Nunes? Only position. Making a joke sub for Mo if Mo needs to be subbed off. Where's the other ones? I missed them. Ibrahim, what have you gone with? 3-1, Wissa, Salah, Gakpo, Diaz. Friday, big up, bro. 2-1 Liverpool. He didn't even give me the goal scorer. Wade Darwin scores his first goal. Cody, then the second 2-1. I think, is that everyone? Have I missed anyone, bro? Guys, big up, man. I don't want to miss anyone's. Because it'd be interesting to see who gets it right when we do the Alexander, big up 2-1. Salah and Gakpo will score. If I've missed your one, guys, apologies. Big up. Hey, bro, 3-0, Salah, Gakpo, Salah. He needs to score, bro. He ain't scored in 2. But listen, guys, we're going to leave it there. We're going to head out. Me and Mike are going to be over on Hussam's channel now. Probably another headache stream. I'm joking. Nah, it should be good. See the guys over there and we'll chop it up, man. Let's see what kind of agendas and narratives are going to be spilt or said over there. And big up to Pops as well. Give me a 2-0 Dom and Nunes. And before I go, big up selection again. Centre back is his best role from now on. Hence why I said he has to be facing play. To be fair, he has done really good at centre back, man. Even though it was a position we knew that he could play, but since he stepped in there, man, he's been really good. LFC Shankly 3-1, Nunes 2, and Trent. Is everyone putting Trent out there today to score, man?
Why is everyone putting Nunes out there to score? Come on, guys.
Yeah, no, respect Nunes, Mike. Respect Nunes, man. He still wears a red shirt, man, so we have to respect him.
I'm a former Nunes sexual. I have one of his jerseys, unfortunately.
Let me see. Let me make sure I add your channel before we go because I know I end up forgetting.
Oh, it's all good.
And then, where is it? Let me add it before I go. That's in your name, isn't it?
Yeah.
My dad's. LFC. Oh, yeah, I see the picture. When are you going to add your own picture, Mike?
Never. Tom Selleck forever, baby.
Tom Selleck forever. I hear it, man. All right, guys, look, Mike's channel is linked as well. Make sure you guys go, and if you missed most of it, go back and watch it, man. I've even timestamped it to make it easier for you guys as well. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 p.m. after the game. We'll chop it up. Maybe we've won, maybe we've not. I don't know. Let's see what happens, man. But if we don't win, I know it's going to be another meltdown. Maybe we even sign a player, bro. Who knows? Who knows what kind of things could happen tomorrow?
Maybe.